So, you've probably been hearing the word Sigma everywhere lately, right? Maybe you've scrolled past a video of someone yelling, "What the Sigma?" and you're just completely lost. Well, you are not alone, and today we're going to unpack the absolutely wild journey of this one little word to figure out what on earth is going on.
Yeah, for most people, this is where the confusion kicks in. What the Sigma? You see this phrase plastered everywhere, usually with some random cartoon character, and it just makes no sense. It's kind of the internet's latest massive inside joke. But here's the crazy part. To actually get the joke, we have to go way back to its surprisingly serious beginnings.
And believe me, this isn't just some obscure corner of the internet. I mean, look at this. The official TSA account on Threads is throwing its hands up in confusion. You know a word is officially broken the internet when a government agency is basically begging the public for a translation. That's peak cultural saturation and peak confusion, for sure.
But then, on the flip side, you've got people using it with, total confidence. What the Sigma? This is so epic. It's used as this catch-all word that seems to mean everything and nothing at the exact same time. So what gives? How did a single word end up with so many different and, frankly, contradictory meanings? Let's dig in.
Okay, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to hit rewind. The whole story of Sigma doesn't start with a silly meme or a TikTok song. Nope. It actually begins with a very specific and pretty controversial idea about masculinity. So the term Sigma male is credited to a far-right activist named Theodore Robert Beale. He basically took the Greek alphabet, alpha, beta, gamma, and decided to invent a new kind of male archetype. He slotted it into this sort of pseudo-scientific social hierarchy he came up with. All right, so here's the basic breakdown. We all know the alpha male trope, right? The extroverted, dominant guy, the leader of the pack. Well, the Sigma male was pitched as this cool alternative. He's the charismatically aloof lone wolf. He's just as powerful and successful as the alpha, but, and this is the key part, he operates completely outside the social hierarchy. He doesn't play the game. He's not in the pack. He doesn't need a pack.
Now, this whole idea found a home pretty quickly in a corner of the internet known as the manosphere. And just for context, sources describe this as an online subculture that's been associated with misogynistic beliefs and even extremist ideologies. It was right there, in those online spaces, that the Sigma male concept really took root and started to catch on. So you gotta remember, Sigma started out in this very niche and, for its followers, very serious context. But, of course, the internet does what the internet does best. It grabs onto something and just completely twists it into something new. This is the moment Sigma starts its journey from a weird ideology to a full-blown meme.
And this is where things really start to accelerate. These online groups that were all about the Sigma archetype, they needed a poster boy. And who did they pick? None other than Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Yeah, they latched onto his detached, obsessive, and successful image as the ultimate lone wolf, while, conveniently ignoring pretty much the entire point of his character.
This whole thing then gave birth to the Sigma grind set. It's basically a whole mindset, a lifestyle that glamorizes just unabashed overwork, insane fitness regimens, and a radical rejection of what everyone else is doing. It's all about achieving this very particular, very solitary version of masculine success. From there, it was a pretty short hop, skip, and a jump to pure meme territory. By 2022, the Sigma face meme just exploded on TikTok. You had people everywhere mimicking Patrick Bateman's intense, stoic facial expressions, usually with some kind of moody music in the background. This was it. This was the moment Sigma officially escaped its original subculture and crashed into the mainstream, mostly as an ironic joke.
But the Sigma face? Oh, that was just the warm-up act. The one thing that truly took the word Sigma, completely detached it from its origins, and just blew it to smithereens was a single viral TikTok song that dropped in late 2023. And this, my friends, is where things get really, really weird. Okay, just listen to these lyrics. Sticking out your gat for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity, you're so phantom tax. I just want to be your Sigma. I mean, what? To anyone not terminally online, this is absolute nonsense. And that is exactly the point.
See, this whole song was a parody. It was designed from the ground up to make fun of the constant fire hose of bizarre slang that was coming out of Gen Alpha internet culture. By throwing Sigma into the same bucket as gat, skibbity, and phantom tax, the song just completely obliterated its original meaning. It turned it into pure 100% irony.
So let's recap that insane journey, from a far-right blog, to the manosphere, to Patrick Bateman, to a parody TikTok song. Phew! So where does that leave the word Sigma right now, today? Like, what does it actually mean? Well, it turns out it now has 3 totally separate meanings, and they all exist at the same time.
First up, you've got meaning number 1, the archetype. Its original meaning is still out there. In some pockets of the internet, Sigma is still used completely unironically to describe that cool, independent, lone wolf guy we talked about at the beginning.
Then there's meaning number 2, the compliment. Because some of the traits of the original archetype, being successful and independent, are seen as positive, the word kind of morphed into a generic compliment. So if someone says, that move was so Sigma, they're not talking about a male archetype. They just mean it was really cool or awesome. And finally, meaning number 3, which is probably the one you're hearing the most, the nonsense. Thanks to that parody song and the whole what the Sigma trend, it's now just a gibberish word. It's used to be funny, to confuse people on purpose, or as a prime example of what people call brain rot internet slang.
Honestly, this whole thing is just a perfect case study of how a modern meme is born, lives, and mutates. It's a masterclass in how language evolves at, lightning speed in the digital age. It really shows you how the internet can take an idea, no matter how serious or dark its origins, and just completely flip it into a joke. So, when you lay it all out like this, the timeline is just wild. It starts in the 2010s as this niche archetype in the manosphere. By 2022, it's a viral Sigma face meme. Then, in late 2023, that ridiculous song turns it into a total parody. And now, in 2024, it's just this nonsensical phrase, what the Sigma? It's a decade-long trip from a fringe ideology to complete and utter absurdity.
And that brings us full circle, right back to the beginning. That phrase, what the Sigma, was apparently popularized by middle schoolers for one simple, brilliant reason. It was an inside joke designed to confuse their teachers and parents. And you know what? Looking at the reactions from literally everyone, including the TSA, I think it's safe to say, mission accomplished.
So yeah, the saga of Sigma is just a perfect snapshot of modern internet culture. It's incredible how fast a word can be created, get adopted, then twisted and parodied until it's something totally unrecognizable from where it started. It really makes you wonder, what's the next Sigma? What word, right now, is just starting its own bizarre journey from a tiny corner of the web into, well, who knows where?